Wait, hold up on the intro here. Let's back up a bit. Inspiration sometimes slips into your subconscious when you're brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You know, the place where all your great ideas happen, the bathroom. In this case, my wife got a new perfume bottle. I only saw it about 100 times, getting ready each morning until I finally did something about it. The process it took me to get a finished product was an ugly one, full of mistakes and miscues. I normally like to keep those in the video so you can learn from my mistakes, but I didn't want to double the length of this video to detail them all. So I guess I'm sorry, and also, you're welcome. My biggest crutch as a woodworker is that I'm terrible at both math and spatial reasoning. So, when I wanted to start making this polygonal monstrosity, I carefully drew up the plans on a piece of paper, took many measurements with my angle finder and ruler, and even dusted off the protractor. And at the end, I was ready to make a prototype. There was just one problem. That prototype was a complete and utter garbage fire. In despair, I turned to YouTube for salvation. I watched so many neat videos on how to make polyhedral shapes, dodecahedrons, isohedrons, basically every funny shaped dice anyone who played a certain game by Gary Gygax would know about. But none of this really helped me. I finally found a video by that ingenious maker in Canada, Matthias Wandel. He was asked by a friend who taught woodshop at a local high school to help him solve a problem that the math teachers at the school weren't even able to help him with. Not gonna lie, that made me feel better that a high school math teacher couldn't solve this. Wandel called it a splayed miter box. I will link the video in the comments. Wandel also provided a chart on how to make pretty much any number of sides/angles you could want for this unique shape. In his video, Matthias used his mathy brain again, not jealous, to rig up some elaborate clamping that found the center point needed to apply pressure. I decided that I was just going to use super glue instead and apply clamping force with my hands. Measurements in hand, I promptly made this piece and it came out just about perfectly with only a little bit of sanding needed. However, what I had right now was just a weird ring with slanted sides, and I was bound and determined to make this into a box. Matthias skipped this problem by throwing his shape onto a lathe and rounding it out, and then inserting a circular piece onto the bottom. I didn't want to take this approach. I felt it totally destroyed the cool shape. Why would I go through all that trouble to make it when I was just going to smooth it all out? I could have just made a segmented bowl in that case. There was just one problem. I had no idea how to do the math. I don't even know what a cosine or a tan is. I sent an email to Matthias to see if maybe he could help me with the math to form a closed shape at the bottom of the box. But I'm pretty sure he has bigger mathematical fish to fry. So that kind of left me at square one, having never taken trig and failing calculus. Then it occurred to me, I don't need to know the measurements of this shape. I can just go buy some clay, form it into the shape I'm looking for, cast that into silicone, and then take that silicone mold and use it to cast it out of resin. I was aided immensely by two facts. One, the shape tapered at the bottom, so it was easy to act almost like a wedge in the silicone mold. And two, there was a convenient hole in the bottom to pour the resin into and check my resin levels. I did not leave out all my mistakes. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I had. So on the first resin cast, I didn't protect the top part of the form at all, and the resin ended up traveling up the side, which left me with a lot of cleanup work. On the second time around, I decided to carefully tape the edges and also tape down the piece into the mold. While this did save me time, I don't think I would do it again. It ended up causing me more gaps where the resin met the wood. The hinge I'm using comes with a set of screws, but because of the beveled shape of the box, I was concerned that those screws would exit the sidewall. So I used purple dyed resin to secure the hinge instead. I was right to be worried. The screws would have definitely gone through the side of the box. I know this because the mortise for the hinges did just that. I ended up filing down the part of the metal hinge that protruded so it's flush with the box. My wife said she liked the effect, as it made a little metal half moon shape. Again, not a mistake, just a design opportunity.